Sarah was tired. Her eyes were strained from staring at the computer screen for hours. Outside, the city night buzzed with a life she wasn't part of tonight. She rubbed her eyes, trying to focus on finishing her work. Suddenly, a notification popped up on her phone. It was an email from Alex. Alex, her brother, dead for 2 years now. Her heart started to pound. There had to be some mistake, maybe a technical glitch. She hesitated, her finger hovering over the email. Curiosity, mixed with fear, bubbled inside her. Taking a deep breath, she clicked it open. The email was short, just a few lines. "Find the house. The answers are there. Be careful, Sarah, it's not safe. I love you." The words sent a shiver down her spine. What house? What answers? What wasn't safe? Her mind raced with questions. Alex's words, so real, so urgent, echoed in her mind. She knew she couldn't ignore this. She had to find out what it meant. She grabbed her coat, a sense of dread washing over her. She was stepping into the unknown, guided by a message from beyond the grave. But she knew one thing for sure. She wouldn't rest until she uncovered the truth. Her brother's last words were a puzzle, and she was determined to solve it. The old mansion loomed in the distance, barely visible in the fading twilight. It was an imposing structure, with its dark Gothic architecture and overgrown ivy clinging to its walls like skeletal fingers. Even from afar, it exuded an aura of neglect and secrecy. This had to be the place Alex was talking about. There was no other explanation. As Sarah drove closer, her apprehension grew. The house seemed straight out of a horror film. The wind howled through the trees surrounding the property, sounding like mournful cries. She parked the car a little distance away, her heart pounding in her chest. Taking a deep breath, she stepped out into the cool night air. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the rustling leaves and the distant barking of a dog. As she walked towards the house, each step felt heavier than the last. The weight of the unknown pressed down on her. The air grew colder as she approached the front porch. The paint on the door was peeling, and the brass knocker was covered in tarnish. She reached out a hesitant hand and knocked. The sound echoed through the house, loud and intrusive in the stillness. She waited, holding her breath. There was no answer, only silence. The old wooden door creaked open with a groan, as if disturbed after years of slumber. The smell of dust and decay hit Sarah's nostrils. She stepped inside, her heart pounding. The house was dark, the only light filtering in from the moonbeams slicing through the gaps in the boarded-up windows. The air inside was heavy with the weight of memories, of lives lived and lost. She could almost hear the echoes of laughter and conversations long gone. Or maybe it was just the wind whistling through the cracks in the walls. She took a hesitant step forward, her footsteps echoing on the hardwood floor. She wandered through the dark rooms, her fingers trailing along dusty furniture and faded wallpaper. Each room was like a time capsule, frozen in a bygone era. She found old photographs scattered on a table, their edges yellowed with age. Faces of strangers stared back at her, their smiles both familiar and eerie. The house seemed to watch her every move, its silence both unnerving and strangely comforting. It was as if the house itself held its breath, waiting for her to uncover its secrets. She was both terrified and strangely drawn to the mystery. Alex's words kept echoing in her mind. The answers are there. Sarah found herself drawn to a room at the end of the hallway. It was smaller than the others, dimly lit by a single window. The air here felt different, heavier, as if laden with secrets. She realized it must have been Alex's old study. A wave of sadness washed over her. She ran her fingers along the surface of a dusty old desk, its wood worn smooth by time. There was a faint indentation on the leather blotter, as if someone had spent countless hours writing there. She could almost picture Alex sitting there, lost in his thoughts. Something beneath the desk caught her eye, a loose floorboard. She knelt down, her fingers prying at the edge of the board. It creaked and gave way, revealing a small wooden box hidden underneath. Her heart raced with anticipation and dread. This had to be what Alex wanted her to find. Inside the box, she found a collection of old photographs, their edges curled and faded. They were family photos, but many of the faces were unfamiliar. There were also letters, tied together with a faded ribbon and a leather-bound journal. On top of the journal lay a small folded note. She recognized Alex's handwriting instantly. "Sarah," the note began, "if you're reading this, then I'm gone, and you're in danger. These photos, these letters, this journal, they hold the truth about our family, secrets that someone wanted buried." Each word felt heavy with urgency and fear. Sarah's heart pounded as she read on. "Don't trust anyone. Find the answers, Sarah, but be careful. They're watching." The note ended abruptly, leaving her with more questions than answers. Suddenly, the house seemed to shift around her. The floorboards groaned, and dust rained down from the ceiling. The air grew heavy, difficult to breathe. Sarah looked up, her eyes wide with fear. The house was shaking, as if caught in the grip of an unseen force. She had to get out, now. Clutching the box tightly to her chest, she stumbled back, her heart hammering against her ribs. She raced out of the house, her lungs burning, her mind reeling. As she sprinted towards her car, she risked a glance back at the mansion. It stood there, silhouetted against the darkening sky, its windows like vacant eyes watching her. But now there was something different. A faint light flickered in one of the upstairs windows. Someone or something was in there, and they had been watching her all along. Her life had changed tonight, irrevocably. She wasn't sure what dangers lay ahead, but she knew one thing for certain: she wouldn't rest until she uncovered the truth. Alex was counting on her.